Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a short video where I'm going to answer this challenge that I created a couple of months ago on Twitter. The exercise was the following. By looking at this image, what price action do you want to see in order to buy at the target zone? Additional to that, I'm going to add a second question. What price action do you want to see in order to sell towards the target zone? I'll challenge you to pause the video now and do the exercise before watching the rest of the video. So, I hope you followed my advice and tried to resolve the exercise by yourself. Now I'm going to share with you what I would like to see. Before I do that, just so you guys know, there aren't any right or wrong answers. The goal of this exercise is to practice to recognize what price action you want to see when looking for trades. My requirements don't need to be the same as yours, and vice versa. However, you should be looking for a similar type of price action when you look for your own setups. Otherwise, you'll be all over the place and most likely you will not be consistent with your execution. Basically, the goal is to create your if-then scenario anytime you're looking for your setups. I will actually start from the second question, what price action I want to see in order to sell towards the target zone, and then I will answer the first question, which is what price action I want to see in order to look for longs. So let's go back to the exercise. So we know that price wants to go to the target. Now, before it goes to target, maybe we could have some opportunities to look for sales. So as you can see, we have these three different levels. Basically, you can think of each one of them as different rooms. And anytime price goes inside one of these zones, it's like price is opening a door, showing the intention that it wants to go inside the room. And eventually move all the way through the other extreme of the room. However, the way price moves is not as simple as that. When price goes inside here, it doesn't just go straight away into the other extreme. What price usually does is actually, after giving the signal that it wants to go into this room, actually it retraces, it goes somewhere else, and then eventually, yes, it will go and carry on and fill this on. And now I'm going to create a few price action scenarios that I like to see in order for price to fill these ranges that I just mentioned before. So we know that price wants to go to the target. So what price action would I like to see in order to look for sales towards the target? For now, this is what I can see in here. We have this double top and we have this double bottom. And these are the two extremes that you can see inside this middle rectangle. And above this double top and below this double low, most likely there's going to be some liquidity waiting for us because that's where you can usually find liquidity. So the other point of this exercise is to think in terms of liquidity. And these are basically the two extremes that we can see. Something else that we can see in here is that basically this was the beginning of this compression to the downside. And this was maybe the last decision point before price moved into this middle range inside here. So this level is also important. This extreme is also important. So now I'm going to play around with this price action and try to explain my thought process along the way. Hopefully you will not get lost. So what price could do from here is price could go up. Initially we could respect for a moment this double top, goes down, and eventually it fakes out this double top and it reacts from this fresh decision point that was left behind. So something that I've been mentioning in my previous videos is always to find this space between a fresh decision point and previous highs or lows that we could see. In this case, it was highs. And after price reacting from that fresh decision point, price would go down. And now we have this new zone inside here that is also aligned with these highs that were just faked out. So eventually price will need to go and collect these orders. Price can do that straight away on the way down. So one of the zones that I'll be looking for sales, it will be exactly in here. After the break of this low, we basically have the confirmation that price wants to go further down inside this scale. And inside here have been my first zone of interest to try to look for sales. And after that, price is free to go down. And this double low, it would have been a nice target, and most likely we could expect price to even fake out because there's going to be liquidity underneath these zones. But if you want to be conservative, you could easily just place your targets somewhere at the origin of this move. But now, since we know that price wants to go further down, we could now expect maybe price to start slowing down a little bit, trying to show that this double low is going to hold price up. And eventually we have then the move to the downside. And now we enter into this new zone, but of course, price will not just move straight away to the downside. and instead it's going to retrace and eventually break out this zone and showing intentions now that it may want to go up in this smaller scale. And this is something that you usually see. And now price, instead of going straight away to downside, price actually is going to fake out this level of structure, showing indication that price actually wants to go further up in the future. However, this engulf up, it may or may not work straight away because we haven't actually reached the final target inside here. So there is no certainty that price will maybe come here, respect it, and go to the upside. Instead, price could actually maybe just collect these orders, do the opposite, respect now this zone in here, take the orders from here. This would have been my second zone to enter with proper price action, respecting this level in here. And now price could actually carry on. So this move in here, it already collected the stop losses that were inside here, that were above this high. And now price could be free to go and carry on to the downside and eventually reach their final target in here. And this simple move up in here, it could be already a signal that price, after reaching the final target, it wants to actually to go to the upside. If you don't have actually any engulf up before price reach this final target, it's maybe price telling us that it doesn't want to reverse from this final target and maybe eventually just break it to the downside. However, we actually have this engulf up. So maybe what you could see now in here, in order to for longs, it will be maybe now price reacts from there. It already has maybe these lows in here. And now price goes up. We actually broke this high to the upside, which was the last point before price came to the downside. We have maybe this decision point in here and then another one in here. This one basically it has been touched already, so this becomes maybe the next one. And now price actually, instead of going there straight away, it actually is going to create a new high. It leaves this on fresh. And now it carries on to the upside, respects this level, goes up. And now we have a new engulf in here. So this level is finally broken. It had already been broken on the way down. I call it the engulf up on the way down. It doesn't work straight away because actually we haven't reached our final target. After that, price now maybe it's in a good moment to go and collect these orders from this origin that are still fresh, because these lows never took the orders from there. So we have the so-called space that I like to mention. Sometimes it's a little bit of a bigger zone and not so tiny, but this can work as well. So basically we had this high being broken. We have this zone. It could be actually a valid short in here. If we had actually price action, then we had in here, because price broke these lows. So in a smaller scale, so now we are playing these different zones. We are playing this bigger one. And the other one that we are playing is this one. And in here, we had this engulf down. So we actually expect price at least to go to this zone with the possibility that eventually it wants to go to the final target. So this is what we have. And after that, we can expect price to carry on. We take these orders from there, respects a little bit the below, and now a strong move, takes these orders, go, respect, and goes up. So now finally the orders from this origin were taken. Price had already this space in here, this liquidity that you could see. There was some kind of liquidity underneath these lows, and now price is free to carry on to the upside. So we could have had this short opportunity, maybe some long around this area in the beginning, and now we have our second long somewhere in here, or then as a confirmation inside here. After price reacting from there, we have actually this break of this zone, and this would have been the entry with confirmation. After that, price now is ready to go up, because as I mentioned before, this was another confirmation that price wants to go higher. This one was to go down, and this one to go up. And now price is free to go. And because this origin has already been taken on the way down, so price is actually free to go to the upside. We still had this zone inside here. This for me now becomes all compressed up until here. And something that price also likes to do is to now fake out this level and then go and collect some more orders to the downside before actually move towards the final target, that in this case, it would be somewhere inside this size. So the price action that you could see, it would be maybe like something like this. Price initially respects a little bit that zone, eventually takes it, and now goes down, again, respects the level. This is maybe another short. And now don't forget that we had this important level structure somewhere inside here, and this maybe becomes a really nice zone for price to retrace to. We also had this space because this low never took the orders from here. I didn't even draw this on purpose, but it's something that you can see all the time. So we have now this space as well. This can be our new zone. Maybe because all these can be connected. And we have this break now from either this lows or even this one to the downside, confirming that price wants to fill the rest of this space with this engulf down in here. However, we also have this engulf up, indicating that price wants to go higher, because price just fake out this level. Actually, it looks like I didn't manage to break it, but this high broke this white line in here. Okay, that's the purpose of this. So now price can go, create something in here, respect a little bit, and eventually take the orders from there. We respect this previous level of structure. Maybe there's some kind of decision point inside here. Let's pretend that this is a zone. And now price is free to carry on. Again, it just broke this level. Have this compression, this zone, engulf up. Time to take the orders from this zone, this level, or these lows. And this is basically how price behaves and goes and goes and goes. And eventually we get to the final target. So this is an example of how you can see price moving from one zone to the other. You can see this example, just open a chart and you'll see price moving like this quite often. Breaking one zone to the upside, retracing, go collect some more orders from the origin, move up, then go back eventually and take the orders from the previous support and resistance level. Find the spaces between highs and lows and fresh and points. And if you manage to find those kind of zones in the market, you can start making these kind of predictions where price wants to go next just based on this kind of information. So this is one of the ways that I would complete this exercise. As a quick review, I'll be looking for shorts somewhere inside here, for longs somewhere inside here, for shorts somewhere inside here, again for longs inside here, maybe somewhere inside here for shorts. In here it depends. If price actually managed to go and collect this space immediately, I'll be looking for longs in here. Otherwise, I'll be looking for longs after price retraces all the way back. It will be even in here or as a confirmation somewhere inside here to collect the orders from this zone. And there's maybe a couple of other zones that could maybe try to find trades. But I think you already have an idea of where I'll be looking for entries in here. Maybe you have a different style. Maybe actually you try to sell at breakouts or to maybe look for entries after the breakout of this high. It depends. Everyone has their own preference, the way they look at the market and how they trade. For example, for some reason, I can identify short setups way easier than longs. Maybe you can even recognize that from my videos. It's just a preference. Can't even explain why. So yeah, this is basically one of the ways that I would look for. Another way that I maybe would like to see price behaving is, let me delete all this. So another way that I would like to see is, for example, instead of price initially breaking this double top, maybe price could respect the double top, actually go down. And the first break, it would be the double bottom instead of the double top. So in this case, maybe we could have even a long inside here, but this would have been already an indication that price wants to go further down. We just took the liquidity from this above all. We actually broke this high to the upside, creating this engulf in here. After the engulf to the downside, price is not guaranteed to go immediately to the target. Price can actually go. And what it does now is go up, takes the liquidity from this above top. Basically now it repeats the same movement that I mentioned in my previous example. Goes on from there. And it's also another indication that it wants to go higher. this would be again another zone that I'll be looking for sales. In this case, in here, maybe I'll be looking for longs. And eventually price would go, and now it would reach its target. And then it will be kind of the same scenario, look for price action inside here in order to look for the long opportunity, push price to the upside. So the main difference now is that price will take the liquidity from this double low in the first place, and only afterwards price will take the liquidity from this double top. The signals would be there as well. Price, by doing this, we know that price wants to go down, and then by faking out, eventually we know that price wants to go up. But don't forget that this exercise was planned in order for price to go and reach this target even before any kind of move that would break out this size. So one of the things that I would like to recommend from this video is for you to go and study what is the difference when price first breaks the highs or it breaks the lows. If there is any difference between the sequence and how price moves after that. That will be one of my recommendations for you. Another one is to practice this kind of exercise of making scenarios and predictions of what price could do next when you're making your analysis in the market. I really believe this is something that's going to help you to improve the way you're going to look at the market. Try to define the zones that price is playing, and when price breaks one of the zones, see what happens afterwards. Does price continues in the same direction or does price retraces? Just go around, create scenarios, try to define the zones that price is creating, the bigger scales, the smaller scales. Try to define where those zones are, and don't forget to have fun and to be open-minded while we are doing these predictions. And of course, to always think in terms of liquidity, to understand how price can move by collecting liquidity along the way. And that's it, guys. I was expecting this video to be quite short, but apparently I'm struggling to make short content. I hope you enjoyed and that you got some value from this video. Please comment below if you have any questions about this video and if you like this type of content. And which part of the video do you like the most? And if you actually did the exercise and you would like to have my feedback, you can contact me on Twitter and Instagram and I will get back to you. With that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Obrigado.